Hello and welcome to episode number 261 of the Launch Lounge podcast. In today's episode, you'll discover how to unlock new levels of energy and growth by mastering the art of saying no to the right things. You'll learn a powerful 3-question framework that helps you protect your focus, honor your boundaries, and build your freedom empire in alignment with your true values. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome. It's lovely for me to be hanging out with you in your ears today. Thank you so much for being here. Spring has definitely not sprung here in Australia. I'll tell you, this morning I was in the swimming pool at 5 a.m. and I can feel that winter is coming. Winter is coming. It's starting to get a little nippy at 5 a.m. in the swimming pool. So I know if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're probably feeling really happy that spring has sprung. I am just really enjoying being in this new house that we moved into a few months ago. I spent the entire Sunday afternoon lounging poolside. It was so lovely. So I'm a little bit like hanging on to every last dear little bit of sunshine and warmth and delightful Brisbane, Queensland weather with my dear life, holding on to it. I wonder if you noticed something that I noticed when I had kids. I still have kids. It's the same kids. When my kids were little, I remember conversations with school mums about feeling obliged to do things and mum guilt and feeling bad for working, but then also feeling bad for not working, or feeling bad for not having enough time to be the mum who bakes the best homemade brownies for whatever the school wants, or shows up to do tuck shop duty, or all the things that the school often expects of mothers. Wouldn't necessarily expect the same thing of fathers, but we end up feeling guilty. We end up having to justify why we aren't as involved with the school as some of the other mums, and we feel guilty for it. Now, I will say that my kids are now 13 and 11, and I have not had mum guilt or school guilt or working mum guilt in many years. Thank goodness. That's one of the things that perimenopause took away and trashed it and threw it away for me. I'm very grateful for that. But I do remember that time. I do remember feeling that way. And when I was writing my notes for this episode, I kept going back to that feeling, because that to me is the ultimate feeling that happened in my body that I could really describe to you. I think if you're in it, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's that damned if I do, damned if I don't feeling of having to say yes to things because you're obliged to, or you feel you're obliged to, or you feel this is some role you have to play, and then feeling guilty when you say no. But in the same sense, you may feel just as guilty when you say yes, because maybe you say yes to, working in the tuck shop that day, or helping out with the school trip, or doing the thing, whatever the mum thing is. And then you feel guilty for not being at work and not getting your work done and not doing what you committed to doing as a working parent, right? So it's a little bit of this damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. And I'm relieved that I feel like as I've gotten older, I've gotten better at this. But there are 3 things that I want to talk to you today about that we're going to unpack. And these are 3 different kinds of things that sometimes requires us to say no. Sometimes maybe not, but often these are like, I've kind of thought about it and put no's, having to say no to someone, into these 3 different buckets, because each of these 3 things require a different approach. When we understand which one of the three things we're dealing with, then we can choose the right approach. And then it's easier to say no without feeling guilty, or to say, to do that accidental yes because you felt obliged. So we're going to unpack three things today that, if you can put that the question, should I say yes, should I say no, into one of these three categories, then you will have a better understanding of how to handle the situation. And you'll hopefully, what my goal for you for this episode is, leave you with a tool that you can use to filter those situations, and then to be able to respond in a way that puts you in the driver's seat, that puts you in the victory seat, not in the victim seat. And hopefully you'll catch yourself less and less and less often saying yes to things because you feel obliged, and less feeling guilty because you said no, because nobody wants to live like that. And it's just not a place to be building a life from, and it's not a place to be building a business from. Right. So the three different things that we're going to talk about are things that violate your boundaries. That's number one. There's a very clear way to say no to things that violate your boundaries, but we are not taught this as little girls, and we have to learn this later on in life. And I'm going to teach you some of what I have learned about saying no to things that violate your boundaries. The second thing we're going to talk about is things that rob your focus. And this is a tricky one because this often requires us to say no to ourselves. But I'm going to share with you where I'm at with that journey and how I'm handling it, being a non-neurotypical, because I think if you're neurodivergent and if you're neurotypical, you have to approach that in a different way. And then the third thing is things that indicate you need a major overhaul. Right? We're going to talk about things that come up that you want to say no to, or that you say yes to and then feel guilty about. And when you pay really close attention, you can learn that these are actually signposts telling you to move in a different direction. So that's the three things we're going to unpack today. So let's talk about the first one, things that violate your boundaries. I truly have come to the belief in my life that some people are born knowing what they want, and some people are born knowing what they don't want. And I'm a don't want kind of gal. As much as I would love to say I have real clarity on what I want and I just go for what I want, I can kind of easily be pulled in a million different directions because what I want is different every day. But I'm often quite clear on what I don't want. And I have come to learn that uh, my brain and my body will tell me what I don't want, but my brain and my body doesn't do the work for me to say, okay, well, based on the fact that we don't want this, that, and the other, what do we actually want, right? There's work in that. That requires some painful sitting down and reflecting, painful thinking, because unless I do that painful reflecting and thinking, I do only ever end up focusing on what I don't want. And that is also no way to build a life, because what we don't want, our brains filter in, right? Our brains filter in what we see and what we can acknowledge. So if all we see and acknowledge is things we don't want, then all it's going to filter in more and more and more is how we're surrounded by things we don't want. And that's no good. It's not good if you believe in the law of attraction, or if you believe in abundance. We know that we have a reticular activation system in our brains, and that system is designed to only see what we tell it is important. And it does not differentiate between don't want and want. It just goes, you were thinking about this thing, and so I'm showing you more of this thing. So if our brains are wired to keep telling us things we don't want, it's just going to keep putting that in front of us unless we learn to give it back, feed it back things that we do want. Now, if you're anything like me, I am a dreamer, right? So when it comes to practical things that I want, I need someone to show me an example. I need to see other examples of businesses that use a specific business model, or marketing that works in a specific way, or let's get very practical. A way to show up on Instagram that works for me, right? Or a way to build a team that works for me. I need to see examples of different things, different ways that it can work. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. Or that's what I want. Or I want a little bit of that, but not that. And a somewhat of that, right? But there's work that has to happen, right? So I realized a few years into having a business that I, unfortunately, and maybe this is just a natural. This is just how things grow, right? You grow, you when you're starting out, you grab onto the systems, the processes, the models that are presented to you, and you take them on, and then as you start to understand which of those models and systems and processes work for you and which don't, you grow out of it. You become clear on what you don't want, and then you should be moving into things that you do want. But I realized that I was adopting what I thought the answers should be when I'm asked about what I want, right? So whenever someone says, if you've been on a journey with me for a while though, you've heard me talk about my struggles with goal setting, like traditional, regular, straightforward, neurotypical goal setting. This skill does not do it. I do not do it that way. It doesn't work for me. Same with that, where every goal setting conversation always starts with, okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what do you want in 5 years, what do you want to see, where, like, every goal setting thing starts with, right, where are we heading in the longer future, right? For me, as someone who struggles to see that, I just adopted whatever everybody else was saying, right? Millions of dollars, a beach house, a big team, speaking on stages, being known for how smart and funny I am. All of those things, right? And what I realized is these things are often either born from a deep insecurity, right? The pretty, funny, smart thing, that's insecurity, right? And it's rooted in what I think I should want based on what other people want, or based on what people that I am modeling, learning from, um, emulating based on what they have or on what they want. Thankfully, today I'm in a more mentally balanced, fully functioning, middle aged, well balanced, mature, having had lots of therapy and some drugs space that I know better which of these things are really things that I want, and which of those things are things that will give me feelings that I want. This was a big thing for me. Here's an example of that. I was able to sit down and be really honest with myself about this whole beach house thing. Do I want a beach house? Because beach house has been on my bucket list for however long, right? And it might have something to do with the fact that when I was growing up, we inherited a beach house from my grandparents, and it was a beautiful beach house. And so I spent every summer at the beach house, and at least one other school holiday we went to the beach house, and then the other school holidays we spent on safari somewhere in the bush, somewhere looking for wild animals in South Africa. And it was amazing. And I got to a point where I realized that every time someone asks me, where do you want to be in 5 years? The answer is, I want to be sitting on the patio of my beach house, looking at the ocean, with my family, and enjoying the fact that I've been able to afford this beach house and I can go there whenever I want. When I dug deeper into it, I actually realized I do not actually want to own a beach house. What I do want is a patio with a view, probably of the ocean, where I can relax. And I can get that if I book an Airbnb. I live in the most beautiful state, in my opinion, in the world. I live near the most beautiful beaches. I live near hundreds of Airbnbs I can book. And so for me, what I realized is, oh, it's not the beach house that I want. It's the relaxation. It's that association that I have with happiness, being a kid, being carefree, being at the sea, being on the coast, relaxing. It's the relaxing that I want. And it's the ability to disconnect and shut down and have large open spaces in time where I'm not working, where I'm not hustling, where I'm not catching up to something. It was the feeling that I wanted. It's not the beach house. But nobody talks about that. And all I could say, when somebody says, "What do you want?" It's like, "Oh, it's the beach house." And actually, then I went, "No, well, actually, it's not the beach house, right?" So this concept of knowing what you don't want, right? I don't think I have to explain that to any of you. I'm sure every single one of you can very clearly identify things that pop up that you don't want. If I say this, you're going to know immediately. Uh, in order to grow on social media, you have to dance, right? How did you feel when I just said that? You have to make videos of you dancing. How did you feel when I said that? Most of you probably instantly went, "Ew, gross, yuck, no, I am never going to dance on social media to promote my business. It is misaligned with me," right? So you might have real clarity on what you don't want. But the real trick is to take what you don't want, identify it, and then go, right. So if this is what I don't want, what do I want? And then be careful to not just grab the beach house. Start with the beach house and say, all right, maybe I do want the beach house. Maybe this is what I want, or maybe if we continue with the dancing on social media example, maybe you're very clear that you don't want to do TikTok dances on social media to grow your business. Uh, and you might say, well, okay, what do I want? Let's keep it in line with Instagram. I'm just using this example because I feel like this is such a close to home thing that we all would understand it, but you can apply it to whatever it is. If I don't want to do TikTok dances on Instagram Reels, what do I want? I want real connection with people. Okay, well, Instagram might not be the right place for you then. You might have to go, and you might need to go with it and go, well, yeah, Instagram's the cheapest form of connection there is on this planet because people are literally deciding with their thumb if they want to spend more than 3 seconds in your presence. Like, that's pretty cheap. Okay, so you don't want that. What do you want? You want to just create content where you write something and they read it? That requires a bit more work, and you are going to attract a better quality person there, right? So just follow the question and continue to go, is this what I want? Or is there something else underneath that I need to find that I want more? Right? There's this concept that somebody that I adore and listen to and follow teaches. His name is Rob Bell. If you know Rob Bell, shout out to you for fellow Rob fans. Rob Bell teaches this concept of a South Star, and it's the opposite of a North Star. A North Star is something that directs you to where you want to go, right? A North Star is the thing you follow, and it's the one thing you keep your eye on and you follow because it tells you where to go. A South Star is a very clearly identifiable thing you don't want. You want to move away from, right? And sometimes knowing what you don't want before you know what you do want is critical in the process of uncovering what you do want. So the better you get at knowing what you don't want and then knowing how to continue to ask yourself questions to uncover what you really want, the easier it becomes to say no to things, right? Because you will have moved from, why does this give me the ick, to, I am very clear about why this gives me the ick. And it's okay if someone else wants to do that, but that is not for me. That is not my values. Or maybe it doesn't even have to be values. It can be, because values, I feel like values sometimes there can be a bit of judgment in values. You can say, well, that's not my value, and then judge the other person whose values are different a little bit, there's a little bit of righteousness in values. So let's call it something else. Let's just say it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. It's not how I jive. It's not how I do things. It doesn't sit comfortably in my body. Whatever. You figure out how to say, this doesn't gel with me. Uh, and then it can become quite easy to just state how you want it instead of saying no. So someone might say, "Hey, let's do this thing," and you can very clearly say, "What I want is to XYZ." You don't even have to say what you don't want. I made a decision recently. I talked about it a little bit on another episode earlier in the year, that I will not be doing any summits anymore. I did one summit, and I feel like maybe the invitations to summits started dying down when I decided I'm not doing them anymore. Thanks, universe. But there was a season where I was just getting all these invites from all these people wanting me to join their summits, right? And I did one with somebody that I knew of. We know of each other. And how that unfolded, just some of it was great. Some of it was fine. Others, not so much. Not There was parts of it that I was like, oh, ew, gross. I will not be participating in something where that's how we operate. That's how we speak to people. That's how we manage relationships with people. I will not be doing it again. So now, if I get an invitation for a summit, instead of saying no, thank you, I can say what I want. And I can phrase it as, thank you for the invitation. At this time, our marketing strategy or our outreach strategy has been laid down for 2025, or our, whatever, our list building strategy is not a summit style strategy. Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation. I will not be participating at this time. And just stating what I want instead of just trying to now come up with a reason why I don't want to do it, or having to explain to someone that I don't want to do this because I think it's icky. Which again, judgment in that. Now it's icky for me, but you do you, boo. But I don't have to include a judgment in my reply. I can just say, "Thank you very much. Our cold lead building strategy is defined for 2025. So unfortunately, we won't be participating. Thank you so much. Have a lovely summit. Goodbye." Just say what you want. Okay. So I hope that helps you a little bit. If you're like me and you're more of a I know what I don't want kind of person, because I have found that the better I get at listening to what my head is telling me, my body's telling me I don't want, the better I get then at doing the work to identify what I do want. And that means fewer people can violate my boundaries. Boundaries get violated when we lack clarity on what we want, who we are, what we stand for, what we don't stand for. And that can be difficult if you're a moving away from sort of person like me. If you're the kind of person who can see what you don't want, but you have a hard time defining what you do want. So I hope that this helps you. If you do find yourself in a situation where you feel like your boundaries are getting violated, or you feel like something's off, I should be saying no to this, but I don't know why. Just do this exercise. Just ask yourself, what is the South Star here? What is the thing I don't want? What is it about this that gives me the ick? What is it about this that I don't like? And don't stop until you have a good answer. When we go back to the like dancing on TikTok example, right? What is it about dancing on TikTok or doing that sort of marketing that gives you the ick? And the answer can't be because it's stupid. It cannot be that. You have to dig deeper and you have to go, oh, well, actually, my audience is more intelligent than that. My audience does not come to me for that. My audience comes to me to help them get a breakthrough. If I'm doing a dance to please an algorithm so that it puts my content in front of more people, and that's my strategy, great. But if that's not my strategy, that's not great. It's not great.
I've got some breaking news for you. We've just finished recording the brand new 2025 edition of our free 5-day Facebook and Instagram ads training. If you've been feeling like social media is sucking the life out of you, or you're tired of spinning your wheels trying to build your list with little to show for it, this is for you. In this completely free 5-day video training, you'll discover exactly how much to spend on ads to make them work specifically for your business. I'll walk you through step by step how to set up ads that actually get results. Navigate the ads manager with confidence, even if Zucks keeps changing everything, and boost your email list signups instead of just boosting posts. The best part? You'll get lifetime access to all the updated strategies that are working right now in 2025. And you can revisit the training anytime you need a refresher. Ready to stop guessing and start growing your list with confidence? Join over 10,000 others who've taken this course now. Head over to thelaunchlounge.com/getmyAdUp or click the link in the show notes. Your future students are scrolling right now. Let's make sure they find you.
Alrighty. Number 2, the second thing I want to discuss, unpack. Things that robs you of your focus, right? This is the trickiest one to say no to because you have to often say no to you. You are often the one getting all excited about the shiny object or the new thing or the tactic or the new social media platform or the thing that everybody's telling you is easy, right? Nothing's easy. Nothing worth doing is easy. I have quite a hard time with this one because I have a billion new ideas every single day. And as soon as I become good at something, I don't want to do it anymore. I am like the ultimate, just let me do something for the first time. Let me figure it out. And that brings me joy. And once I know how to do it, I don't want to do it anymore. So my brain is wired to search for new problems I can solve all day, which is great for my creativity. It's great for coming up with new ideas for the podcast. It's great for figuring out how to solve big, complex problems. But business, having a profitable business, having a business that supports my life, cannot just be run on a whim, whatever is today's flavor of challenge I feel like solving. Businesses rely on systems, and systems have the tendency to become quite boring for people like me. So, you need systems and processes and repetition to do things over and over and over, and you need to do them in a certain sequence. So if you're doing some things because you think it's a shiny object or because you love it, but it's not the right thing for where you're at, it could be a distraction, right? So when some new shiny things comes up, I have to catch myself chasing it and say, stop what you're doing. Love that you're going down this tangent. Love that you're seeing this new opportunity, but just stop for a second, you know? I also have to be very honest with myself at that point about dopamine, right? I spent I tell you this, and if you can see the camera, I'm blushing right now. I'm a bit embarrassed about this. Dude, I am the CEO of a company. And I spent an entire day a few months ago designing templates in Canva for my Pinterest account. Yes, that is how I chose to spend an entire day. I am not proud of it. Did I have fun? Oh, I loved every second of it. It brought me so much joy. And usually, building structure like that, it gives me dopamine. And the excitement of being able to finally have some stuff up on Pinterest was so excited, right? It was pure dopamine. It was purely me wanting to solve a new problem, and wanting to figure out how I'm going to solve this problem and what it's going to look like, and doing the artistic piece, right? Not that I'm a designer. I'm not at all. I'm the worst designer in the world, but I had fun. And so on that day, I had to ask myself, can I justify spending an entire day doing this thing that I could pay someone else to do, that I probably should pay someone else to do? And is this a good use of my time, right? No. The answer is no to all of those questions. This is not a good use of my time. This was not the focus for us in the business at the time. I don't even have enough blog posts up to send Pinterest people to, right? I need to get some blog posts up first. That's step number one in the Pinterest strategy, is get blog posts up so that I can send people there. I have like 10, maybe 12 blog posts up on my site. So I'm going to run out of blog posts to send people to quite quickly. And you can't send people on Pinterest really to podcast show notes. I don't think that's going to be super quality for them. Sometimes, yes, but not every time. You need to have some blog posts up first. So is this a good use of my time? No. Am I the person who should be doing this? No. Did it give me a dopamine hit? Yes. It did. So I caught myself. This was one of those Fridays. I've spoken about the Friday CEO schedule where I'm super productive on a Friday, right? And this happened to be a Friday where I was allowing myself just to do whatever I wanted to do. And this is how I chose to spend the day. And halfway through the day, I went, hang on, is this the best use of my time? No, it's not, right? So I had to come up with some questions that I can ask myself when I find myself uh, needing to be said no to, right? So the questions that I came up with is, do I want to do this thing? That's important. That is very important, because you have to want to do the stuff you do in your business. And if you're only doing stuff you don't want to do, something's got to change, right? Something's got to change. Do I want to do it? Yes. Have I allocated time to do this just so that I can get the dopamine hit, right? Because again, your dopamine hits are important. We cannot just blanket say we're never going to do stuff in our business that gives us dopamine hits, because then why don't we just quit and go work for our boss, right? The dopamine hits matter, okay? But I had to ask myself, do I want to do it? Yes. And have I allocated enough time to do it if I am doing this purely for the dopamine hit? So at that point, I might go, okay, no, I've got these other things that I want to do, that I need to do as well, but maybe I can spend 3 hours on this. And maybe this is the thing I do between 7 and midnight on a Friday night, because that's when I feel like I can focus. That's when I'm creative. That's when nobody's bothering me. That's when it's quiet. Everything's taken care of. So maybe it's one of those things, right? So the first question was, do I want to do it? Yes or no? And two is, if this was purely for dopamine, how much time do I need to allocate to it, right? The second question was, do I want to do it? Yes or no? And will doing it cause fear or panic or hustle or running late on something important later? So doing it now, is that going to negatively affect future Salome who has to deliver on certain things? And if the answer is yes, I want to do it, and it's going to negatively affect something next week or down the track, then I have to say, okay, do I have to do those other things first? Or am I going to do a part of those things and then some of this to reward myself? Right? So it's no black and white. It's just management, mature management of the balance between doing things for joy and doing things for deadlines, right? And then the third question was, can I get the same dopamine hit doing something that's more aligned with what I said I was going to complete today, this week, this month, this quarter, this year? Because once we can acknowledge that certain things are just dopamine hits, then we can say, well, okay, so if I'm doing this thing because I need that kick, how about we get the kick from something that is aligned with what we want to do, right? So I'm learning to work with my brain and not against it, which makes Salome happy. And happy Salome is productive Salome. Happy Salome is profitable Salome. Happy Salome is building a freedom empire the way I like it to be. Doing work I love with people I love to do it with in a way I love to do it with. So I cannot just blanket no to my brain who wants to go on all these tangents. But I also cannot just let it run wild. Somebody's got to be the adult here, right? So I'll repeat those three questions because I get that there's a bit parts to it. The first part of each of the questions is, do I want to do it? So you stop when you catch yourself doing it. Do I want to do it? Yes. Do I want to do it? Is there a strategic purpose for it? Or do I just want to do it because I want to do it? Yeah, okay, honestly, I just want to do it because I want to do it. Okay, great. We can do that. Is there a time that is best to allocate to do this? That's not right now. Yes, maybe Friday night, whatever, whenever. Or if I do this now, is it going to cause fear later? And if it does, then can't do it now. Got to put it somewhere else. The third question, the last one is there something that I can do now that will give me the same dopamine hit, but that is aligned with my commitments for today, this week, this month, this quarter? And when you can just talk yourself through that, you will find that you go on a lot less tangents, you go on a lot fewer rabbit holes, you start a lot fewer things that you can't finish. And when you do, and you've labeled it as a dopamine exercise, great. It's like coloring in. There's no purpose for it. It was just fun. Great. Awesome. You did a great job. You got a dopamine hit. Well done. It's amazing. All right. The third thing that I want to unpack with you about saying no is when saying no actually means it's time to leave. Yeah, that's a big one. When saying no actually means it's time to leave. And by leave, I mean literally leave, quit the job, pack up the business, change the thing, or make a significant change. So this is the kind of no where your body screams no long before your head realizes it. And the better you get at feeling these no's in your body, the better you'll get at understanding why your body screams, and what it's screaming about. And you'll be able to unpack whatever the misalignment is there. So I'll tell you what happened to me. And I went back to my day job. Now, I'll spare you the whole story, but I started my business in 2024 after Elle, my youngest, was about 6 months old, 7 months old. I was on maternity leave, and I had some wins, some losses, some ups, some downs, launched my first online course, learned to run ads, did a whole bunch of stuff, was a sales coach, was a life coach, was all the things. So this is kind of between July 2024 and January 2027. Ups and downs, no real stability, no real reliable income, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And I made the decision at the beginning of 2017 to go back to my day job. But at this point, the company that I had worked for, that I adored, it was a fantastic company, drug company. I was a pharmaceutical rep. I had to resign because my maternity leave had run out, and all the extensions on my maternity leave had run out, as you can imagine. So I had to find a job at a new company, working for new strangers, right? And it didn't occur to me that companies could be so different. But I remember with this new company that I worked for, in the first week, I met some of my territory buddies. So people who sell to the same doctors, see the same doctors, but they talk about different drugs, or maybe they talk about the same drugs but in different areas. I remember meeting one of these guys, and I'd actually knew him before because our kids go to the same school. And I remember he looked at me in the first week and he went, "Don't worry about it. As long as you're checking all the right boxes, they completely leave you alone." He said that to me with a completely straight face. And he said that to me as a way to say, "You're going to love this." And in that moment, everything in my body screamed, "Get the fuck out of here. Run, run." And I'll tell you why. I don't do well at checking boxes. I hate doing things I don't know why I'm doing it, or even doing things I know why, but I don't agree with why, right? I'm a bit rebellious that way. So anytime I have to check boxes just for the sake of checking boxes, that is my idea of hell. The other thing is, one of the reasons I loved the company I worked for before was because I had a very engaged territory buddy. I had a very engaged manager. I had a very engaged manager's manager. And I had a very engaged director. I was on first name basis with them all, and we were making progress. We were working towards stuff. We were conquering things. We were having conversations about wins and conversations about challenges that we were trying to overcome. I love engagement. I love being part of something. Like, if you tell me I have to go and do something for 8 hours a day, and the best part of it is as long as I'm checking the right boxes, they're going to leave me alone. Blah. No, thank you. No, thank you. Didn't want to do that at all. That was a very strong, like, oh, I'm going to hate this moment. And I did not last long. I quit. I quit that job by the end of 2017. I worked very hard to get out of that. In 2021, right before I made the big change in our agency to reduce the number of clients we work with. And this is before we also started helping clients with their marketing. Um, I was working with some clients who we were just taking on more and more and more. I was scaling, right? Scaling more, 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 because that's what everybody tells you, more, more, more. I was scaling the agency very fast. And at one point, we had 18 clients and I had a team of 11 people and I was trying to run everything. And the premise, the setup, the system, uh, the joke, no, the setup of the relationship is such that you come to me, you pay me a bunch of money, I run ads for you. Your expectation is to make money. Okay. That's the basic premise of every Facebook ads agency. Client pays you money. Your job is to run ad so that client makes more money, right? There's a stunning flaw in that exchange. There's an energetic flaw in that exchange. And that is that no ads can ever make you money. No ads can ever make you money. Ads is just traffic. It's just more traffic that runs through a funnel. A funnel makes money. A launch mechanism makes money. Good marketing makes money. Good messaging makes money, right? And so I felt stuck in this system where people hire us, pay us to run ads, which we do. We run great ads, and their expectation is to make more money. And I would then tell them, you're not making money because your marketing's not working. And then they'd get upset. Or they would say, well, I don't want to do that work. Or what? So there was this flaw. And I had to kind of get to this place where my entire body just went, no, the setup is all wrong. The setup sets you up to fail. The setup sets them up to fail. And just because the setup is how other people have it set up and how they do it and how they run it, doesn't mean I have to continue to do it that way. And that brought me to that moment when I went, no, hang on, we've got to change this thing. We can no longer, in good conscience, be part of this arrangement where the expectation is they're going to make more money if they pay us to run more ads. That's just, it's a lie. So that's when I changed to a place where we work with 5 clients and we work with partners. It's a partnership and we help you identify what's working, what's not working, and we help you fix it so that you can make more money, but never because you expect the ads to make you more money. You expect the marketing to make you more money, and we bring ads to good marketing, but we help you with the marketing because we also understand that most course creators didn't get into it because they were marketers. All right. So as a result of this, we shifted our messaging completely. And we know now we work really well with people who want to partner with us. We know we work well with clients who want to learn, who's open to feedback. When they want our help, they ask for it. Who's open to the improvements we suggest. And there's just a completely different energy when we sign up clients to our program. And I'm just loving our clients that we work with right now. And they're supportive and we're supportive and appreciative, and we do good work together that we both love. And that's just, it's a very different energy. So my question to you is, what, if any, is your body saying no to? What is your body shouting no to? What is it that you just can't get past and you keep going, gosh, if I can just get rid of that element of my business or that element of how I do business, the setup, the system. What is not an energetic alignment with your values? We often think these systems we learn when we start out, because when we start out, we have to learn from someone. what these existing systems are that works as a business, right? It's how we all start. We start by learning that these systems exist and that we can adopt the systems. Uh, but then as we operate in them, those no's can start out as whispers and later on they become shouts. And it's important that we figure out how to listen to these no's that our bodies are giving us. And maybe it's time to ask this question. And this is the question that I love so much. It comes from Rob Bell. He talks about this question that he asked himself at a big intersection in his life. He said, how do I arrange my work so that in 5 years from now, I'm loving it even more. And I'm looking forward to doing my work even more every day. And I'll leave you with that question because I think, we often start by saying, where do I want to be in 5 years? And the cheap answer is on a beach, at a beach house. But how do you arrange your business right now so that 5 years from now, you are loving what you're doing? You have even more energy every day than you do now. And there you have it. And now you know exactly how to identify when you need to say no, whether it's to protect your boundaries or preserve your focus or completely pivot your business model. I want you to remember that your business should energize you, not drain you. You have complete permission to design your freedom empire your way. You don't need to adopt someone else's definition of success, not mine, not anybody else's, or operate within systems that drain your energy. There's always another way. The most successful entrepreneurs that I know have mastered the art of saying no to the things that don't align with their values. Hang on, I'm going to rephrase that. That's what I wrote down. The most successful entrepreneurs have mastered the art of saying no. I want to reframe that. The happiest entrepreneurs I know, the most satisfied ones, the most content ones, the ones who truly live life the way they choose to. And there are many of them out there. They have mastered the art of saying no. The most successful ones. It's not the same thing. They've created businesses that feel good 5 years in, not businesses that look good on paper, even if that paper is a bank account. So what no do you need to say this week?
Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.